Okay, so there are two types of sedimentary rocks. One is clastic sedimentary rocks and the other one is non-clastic sedimentary rocks. So for the clastic rocks, so they are made of the the components are actually made of different pebbles or grains, and then we have, okay, it is cemented by a fine or sometimes silt or sand matrix. So clastic rocks are commonly classified based on particle size. And then we have the non-clastic sedimentary rock. So they are either formed by evaporation, precipitation, okay, they're precipitation from solutions or lithification of organic matter. So they can be classified as evaporites, precipitates, and bioclasts or bioclastics. Okay, evaporites are formed eventually when the water saturated with salt evaporates but leaves the deposit behind, such as rock salt and gypsum. So these are examples of um, sedimentary rocks. So we have fossiliferous limestone, coquina, chalk, and rock salt. So rock salt is an example of an evaporite. So we have plastic sedimentary rocks, we have conglomerate and breccia. The difference between the two is conglomerate has round pebbles or embedded in the matrix, while breccia has sharp or it has edgy pebbles or no edgy stones embedded in the matrix. For non-plastic sedimentary rocks, so again they are made through evaporation and precipitation or lithification of organic matters. So when they settle, okay, example, dead living things over a million years settled on the bottom of the lake, and then it hardens through lithification. So we have bituminous coal, or it can form also rock gypsum via evaporation or precipitation of precipitation from solutions. So there are different types of sedimentary rocks. Okay, according to the scheme for sedimentary rock identifications, we have clastic, we have conglomerate, so rounded fragments. For angular, we have breccia, and then we have sandstone. Then very fine grain, we have siltstone. So when the silt is hardened, okay, the aggregation is formed. Then we have siltstone, and then we have shale. This is compact and compacted clay. Okay, next we have crystalline, we have rock salt, rock gypsum, or dolostone. So these are examples of uh, it can it is either formed via precipitation or evaporation. So this can be considered as evaporites. So we also have bioclastics. Okay, we have limestone and bituminous coal. So some examples of sedimentary rocks or sedimentary rock formations. So in Arizona, we have sandstone, we have the wave, and also here, our very own in Ilocos Norte, we have the Kapurpuran Rock Formation. Okay, so this is an example of a sedimentary rock formation. So here I have sedimentary rocks, and let's classify them whether they are plastic or non-plastic type of sedimentary rocks. Number one is conglomerate, two shale, three rock gypsum, four siltstone, then we have bituminous coal, limestone, breccia, and dolostone. So if your answers are the following, then you are correct. So conglomerate is clastic, shale is clastic, rock gypsum is non-plastic, siltstone is plastic, So again, they are fragments embedded in a matrix. Okay, bituminous coal, non-clastic, as well as limestone. And then breccia is clastic, and then non-clastic for dolostone. Okay, we have the last classification of rocks. We have metamorphic rocks. So metamorphic rocks are formed below the surface of the earth through the process of metamorphism with the crystallization of minerals in rocks due to changes in pressure and temperature conditions. So later, we are going to have a separate discussion about metamorphism or the different processes. Example is the endogenic processes. So one of the endogenic process that we are going to have is metamorphism. So again, metamorphism, there's a change in the crystals of minerals in a particular rock due to pressure and temperature. That's why we can categorize them into different types of metamorphism. We have contact metamorphism, regional, and dynamic metamorphism. Okay, so what's the difference with these three? Contact metamorphism, so we have heat and reactive fluids as main factors. So they create non-foliated metamorphic rocks. So examples of this are hornfels. Okay, so you can see here examples of uh, metamorphic rock formation in Japan, the Hornfels Great Fault. So that's in Japan. So this contact metamorphism, they occur when a existing rock gets in contact with magma, which is the source of heat, and magmatic fluids where metamorphic alterations and transformations occur around the contact or metamorphic aureole. So due to the heat, so the rocks or the the rocks surrounding it are actually transformed into metamorphic rocks. So next one is regional metamorphism. So the main factor that plays on this one is the pressure. So it occurs in a regional or large scale. So it creates foliated metamorphic rocks. So examples of metamorphic or regional metamorphic rocks are schist and gneiss. So here we can see that gneiss is an example of a foliated metamorphic rock. So when this happens, metamorphism produces a great volume of metamorphic rocks. That's why it is in a large or in a regional scale. So non-foliated rocks like marble are also formed to regional metamorphism. So we know that marbles are used by uh, sculptors to make such as this one, okay, marble statues. So where pressure is not intense, far from the main geologic event. So the third type of metamorphism is the dynamic metamorphism. So it occurs along faults. Okay, so dynamic metamorphism, it occurs in or along faults because of gravity and too much stress. So an example of this is mylonite. So the different types of or different kinds of metamorphic rocks, we're going to look at the scheme. So it can be through regional metamorphism. So we have slate, phyllite, schist, and gneiss. So the low-grade metamorphism of shale is slate. So we know that shale is an example of sedimentary rock. So um, when there is an application of heat and pressure, so we can have, or there's a low grade metamorphism, we can form slate. And if we are going to increase the heat or the pressure, so we can have formation of foliation, or it can be foliated. So we can have phyllite. Add a little bit or more heat and pressure, we will transform it into schist. And then if we can have a high grade metamorphism, so we will have gneiss. So there is much pressure and heat application. So for the non-foliated, so we have coal. So this is through regional metamorphism. So the metamorphism of bituminous coal, we will form anthracite. And then for contact metamorphism, we can form hornfels. And then metamorphism of quartz sandstone, you have quartzite. And then metamorphism of limestone or dolostone, we have marble. So the limestone, if you're going to apply either regional or it can be through regional or contact metamorphism, you can form a marble. And then next we have metaconglomerate. So one question that we can ask ourselves is, how are these particular rock types were formed? Okay, so is there a possibility that we can transform an igneous rock into a metamorphic rock, or a sedimentary rock to an igneous rock, or vice versa? Or can we transform them into another type? So it can be explained further by looking at our rock cycle. So here's an example of a rock cycle. Okay, so if you're going to look at it, so let's start with igneous rocks. So igneous rocks, if you're going to transform igneous rocks into a metamorphic rock, so it has to undergo different processes. So actually it can be transformed into a sedimentary rock, and then the sedimentary rock can be transformed into a metamorphic rock. Or you can have it directly from igneous to metamorphic rock via metamorphism. So you can apply heat and or pressure. Okay, so igneous can become a metamorphic rock. So how about if you're going to transform a metamorphic rock into a, say, an igneous rock? So of course it has to undergo first melting so that it can become a magma, and then there is solidification to become igneous rock. So for igneous rocks naman to become sedimentary rock, it has to be weathered or eroded or uplifted, or it has to undergo exogenic processes to be transformed into sediments, and then there is um, lithification or deposition and burial, compaction and cementation to become sedimentary rock. Okay, for sedimentary rocks to become igneous, so there should also be a, again, it can undergo this process, melting, and then melting becomes magma and then solidification. So again, since this is a cycle, as I mentioned before, okay, there is no start or a definitive start or end. So we can either start with the metamorphic rock becoming an igneous, or an igneous becoming sedimentary or metamorphic rock. So I guess that's all for our discussion on rocks. So I hope to see you again in our uh, next discussions. Okay, that's all. Thank you.